How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Say something nasty to me in the comments, please do. Today I feel like doing something different. I don't really feel like riding fast, so I figured I've been thinking a lot about this stuff recently. I've been thinking about the things that I wish I would have been told when I was younger. I'm 29 now, and there's a lot of things that the adults in my life didn't tell me that would have been super important to know about. And I came up with two that were the most important to me. One was daily meditation, and two is limiting how often I ejaculated. I know that's a little abrasive sounding, but it's a discussion that needs to be had. So there's some other things, but those are the two main things I definitely want to talk about. It's like mental health and physical health. Mentally, the best thing you can do for your mental health is to meditate at least 20 minutes every morning. Bar none. If I do not meditate for 3 days, my mental health goes below what I consider acceptable. And it's something I personally have to do every day to have a really clear peace at mind mentality about myself and about life. And it's just super important. And without it, I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't have good mental health if I didn't do that shit every day. You know, bottom line. That's the simple spark notes about it. And definitely the other thing is either masturbation and sex. And it's something that really needs to be done in a certain moderation. And part of it's depending on your age and whatnot. But definitely if I could go back and change things, I started when I was like 13, and I was like at least every other day throughout my life up until I started practicing. You can call it nofap, you can call it semen retention, you can call it life force retention. Basically practicing limiting how often you ejaculate or even touch yourself in general. And it wasn't until I got older that I felt like something wasn't right about me and about my energy. I didn't have energy, I didn't have drive. I felt like as I got older, the attraction to women towards me seemed like it wasn't as high as it should have been. And literally, when I started abstaining from masturbation, at least only doing like 1 day a week, everything in my life improved. I had more energy, I was happier, more vitality, easier to get up in the morning, easier to get to the gym, way easier to talk to women. People call them superpowers, and for sure, I don't want to necessarily call them superpowers because they're just normal powers if you don't, waste your seed all the time. But I experienced this whole other level that I had been missing out on my entire life, because around the time I hit puberty, I basically didn't stop until my mid-20s and started practicing this a little bit. And because of it, I'm running laps around people. Like, women smell it on me, man. Like, I can talk to women so easily. Like, it just comes so naturally. Like, I have way better relationships with women in the sense where instead of this release becoming a need, this sex thing becoming something I needed, it was something I more enjoy between me and if I have a woman in my life, it becomes something that's like a little bit more beautiful. And I don't want to say that from like a romantic sense. I think romance is overrated, and I think just, excuse my French, fucking a bunch of bitches is completely and utterly way overrated. But regardless, I definitely want to talk to, especially the younger kids out there, man. Like, just stay off the porn. It does nothing. Like, limit the masturbation. Only do it once a week. Really, you get down to once a week and you start really feeling benefits. You go up to, like, start practicing doing it. If you don't have a woman in your life, just stop masturbating and looking at porn. It's such a waste. Put all that energy into something else, because over time, if you keep doing it, and you do it frequently, you do it more than, don't do it ever more than 3 times a week. If you start doing it more than 3 times a week, more than once a week, as ideal, you're going to, oh, it's beautiful. Oh, this is beautiful. You're going to start depleting. And basically, you're going to have energy levels that just go down. And because you're constantly jerking off and not allowing enough days to go by where that energy, that vitality builds back up again, you're just going to deplete until you don't even really realize that you're depleted, because it's so slow over time, until you actually go a period of time be like, wow, I was way not anywhere near the top of my abilities. It's just so important as a man. It's the one thing that you should do as a man. If you cannot master your own penis, you are going to be severely limited in your abilities to master anything else. You might still be able to master shit, but not anywhere near as close. You're not going to be able to pull as high quality women if you're depleted, because they're going to fucking pick up on that. That's on some, like, primal, like, human animal shit. Like, I'm telling you what, women can't tell a difference about me, except they treat me so differently, because there's something that they can't put their thumb on that is different about me than other men. And it's not even necessarily my mentality, it's not necessarily my abilities, it's literally my confidence in the fact that I don't fucking need anything from them. They don't have any fucking power over me. And as soon as you can get to the point where you master yourself, where women don't have power over you, that's when you can really start pulling the women, get the women that you want. Get the woman or woman. I think really sleeping around is completely way overrated. Like virginity, abstinence is like overrated, and fucking around is completely overrated. It's just extremes. It's unfortunate nowadays. You only really hear the two sides. You either hear the dogmatic aspect of religion, where it's like you're gonna go to hell if you masturbate and have sex. I know that's that's a little blown out of proportion, but you get the idea. Or it's like, oh, just have free love, free sex, blah blah blah. Honestly, if I look back, the majority of women did not deserve my energy, did not deserve my fucking energy at all. And if I had done shit in moderation, I probably wouldn't have hooked up with some of the chicks I hooked up with, because I would have been way more. I'm so fucking picky now. Like, women they really used to be sex objects to me, because I would release my shit so much that it became a need. It was like a drug. It's a drug. It's an addiction, for sure. And I'm not saying you have to completely abstain from it to be able to, but you have to master it, or it's going to master you. And women are going to have power you. Women are going to master you. It's gorgeous. So to recap those two things, meditation every day, at least 20 minutes. Start out maybe 5 minutes, build up to 10 minutes, build up to 20 minutes. Do it for at least a month. And just practice going without releasing your seed. It's basically what you need to do is you need to master yourself to the point where it doesn't have a control over you. And I'll tell you what, it's there to purposely have control over you. And I'm telling you, it's meant to be difficult to master. And that is the feature of it. For instance, if you go to the gym and lift weights, you purposely go there because it's difficult to lift weights. It's difficult to master yourself as a woman or a man, especially a man, because we're a little different. It's difficult because it's meant to be difficult. And it's never really meant to get so easy that you fully mastered it. It's always going to be there to give you something, some resistance that makes it difficult. And every time you say no, I've gotten to the point where it's like I have no reason to fucking masturbate. I really have no reason, because there's no fucking benefit. There's absolutely no benefit. And I'm not saying you need to turn into a robot and only, run a half marathon every day and avoid social media and go on a dopamine fast for the rest of your life. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I'm keeping that shit for myself. It's way more important for me to hold that shit inside of me and not masturbate and build that inside of me for other purposes, because you master that sexual energy, you keep that sexual energy, and then you can put it into other shit. Like, honestly, when I was like masturbating every day when I was younger, a teenager, I don't know if I would have had enough shit in my balls to be able to get on a fucking motorcycle. I'm telling you what, that's a fucking gorgeous ass bridge. Oh shit, bitch, check it out. I don't, especially when I smoked weed. That's another topic we're definitely gonna get into. This is gonna be a long ass video. Fuck it, this is just important that I get out. Like, I want to have kids eventually, and like, I want this shit documented for them to hear. And oh my god, it's a beautiful location. What the fuck? Well, I'm gonna steal that house. We can give it a little gas. Fucking A. I didn't preload the shift there. I have to preload on this bike. So, alright, what did we cover? We covered, we need to get the RPMs higher on this, or lower. So what did we cover? We covered masturbation, and we covered, meditation. The other thing I want to talk about, and this is going to rub people the wrong way, I want to talk about alcohol and marijuana. And I think those two substances affect people differently. So, mileage may vary. But for me, in my personal experience, I basically quit alcohol. I really basically don't drink alcohol. And I do not smoke weed. I think I smoked weed maybe twice the past year. Maybe more than that. But it's phasing out of my life to basically nothing. And, people can do with their life. I don't mean to judge. But I'm going to speak from my experience. Alcohol and weed made me weak. It made me weak. It made me... I'll talk about weed first. Weed made me tired. Weed made it hard for me to concentrate. Weed made my brain foggy. It made me... Did I say tired? I'll say tired again, because it made me really tired. And it made me so fucking unmotivated. It took so much energy to motivate myself, like abnormally, to the point where it would take energy to just motivate my fucking self. And I remember back in the days when I had been smoking weed frequently, almost every day, which I think is kind of not the best idea. I went in to take the entrance exam at a community college, and I could barely pay attention to the test. And I'll tell you what, weed doesn't affect everyone the same way. Some people might smoke weed and be like, I don't know what you're talking about, that doesn't happen to me. But it's like, I feel like medicine, pills and shit, they have side effects that don't always affect everyone. And for me, weed affected me. I got all the negative side effects to the point where it was not worth it, and it was just fucking stupid to be doing. There was no point in me consuming it anymore. And you can be successful and smoke weed, There's successful people that smoke weed, but honestly, I believe they are in the minority. There's a guy named Tanner Hall. He's a freestyle skier. If you go on Instagram, you will find him on Tanner Hall 420. He's been smoking weed a lot. And he became a professional freestyle skier and was one of the best in the world, and is still basically one of the best in the world. And he's doing 1440s. I think he might even got up to 1620s, like double flips in the pipe. He was on top of his fucking game, and he smoked weed. He would even smoke weed during the X Games. So he was able to do it. But if I smoked weed, I freestyle skied for a little while. If I smoked weed and thought I was gonna do more than a fucking 180 or do a flip, that was not gonna fucking happen. So it worked for him, but I gotta say, what if he hadn't smoked weed? Would he have been more successful? Weigh the pros and cons in life and figure it out for yourself. And, it's funny. Most of my friends who smoked weed, I see them from an outside perspective as it has limited their fucking potential. For sure. The majority of my friends from high school and shit, it limited their potential. And there's gonna be haters in the comments. Oh, smoke weed every day, hold down a full-time job. And you're like, yeah, that's good, and they're in the minority. But if I were to go back, it's hard to say that I wouldn't smoke weed, because I ended up finding psychedelics and DMT and mushrooms and LSD that really opened my fucking mind, which was a pretty cool journey. But I'm really glad I've put it behind me. I'm really glad I put it behind me. So let's also talk about alcohol. So alcohol is fun. Like, if people want to drink it, like, that's on them. That's cool. Like, if you want to drink it, that's cool. If you don't want to drink it, that's cool as well. I personally basically don't drink. I've drank, like, over the past year, I've maybe drank like 5 times. And I'm 29, so the older I get, the less I'm phasing it out. I kind of not to make people hate me, but I think it's kind of weird that people drink after 30. Because I'm like over it. Like, I felt like it was supposed to be something in my 20s that I grew out of, and I don't want to really do it anymore. I never really had a problem with it, but I'll have like maybe two beers, and the next day I feel just not on top of my game. And now when I drink alcohol, I just feel weird, because I can tell I'm less coordinated, I'm less on the ball, I'm just not as sharp, and I just don't really have much reason to not be fucking sharp as hell. I'm gonna explore this red tank? That was red tar. And the one thing I really have to say about alcohol is you see movies and you see TV and you hear music, novels and shit glorify drinking. And there's a fun element to it, but I also experienced the fact that alcohol and drinking alcohol for me never actually lived up to what I thought it was going to be. It was always overrated. Like, fucking drinking, going to the club, picking up a chick is always way better in theory than it actually is, because I realized, like, if you're at a club, there's so many guys there that are looking to fuck girls that your competition is just fucking through the roof. And most of the girls, they don't go there to hook up. They literally go there just for attention. So, like, if you want to, like, my friend told me one time, he's like, if you want to hook up with a chick, you just basically have to, like, lower your standards. And I can't do that. I'm not gonna do that shit. And I feel like for the youth, they're given this picture of alcohol as this like amazing. Like I couldn't wait until I was 21. I couldn't wait till I was 21. And when I got there, I was so fucking disappointed. It was like, this is what this is? This is like not that fun. Uh-oh, I might get into a place that's like kind of hard to turn around. If this shit gets so fucking steep. Alright, we're just exploring. We're riding. We're cruising right now. So, for me, like, just hooking up with alcohol, like, you know, and in my day, like, there was, you know, fucking gorgeous women, like, you know, gorgeous fucking women, like 10s, 9s, 10s, and it was always never as good as I thought it was going to be. And I'll tell you what, gentlemen, you know, I've had the cream of the crop, and they were all not that good. They were not as good as I was in bed. It was always just kind of like, really, this is the energy you're bringing me? It was just so overrated. I think alcohol turned into like hooking up and talking about hooking up. It's overrated. It really is. I'm not saying enjoy yourself, rub yourself, you know, enjoy your time on earth, but like, man, sex is such, oh, look at that majestic beast. Oh my god, that majestic beast. There we are. Oh, we got Halloween out. Nice. That's cool. Anyways, so hooking up, it never lived up to my expectation, and it was like having to get there and me being a man and grow older and being like, this is way over fucking rated, man. And there's gonna be so many people in the comments being, oh, blah blah blah. I'd be like, you can't even. I bet you can't master yourself. I bet you haven't mastered yourself, and you think like vagina is the pinnacle of what you can reach as a man. And I'll tell you what, as you get older, you'll start to realize that, you know what? Pussy only goes so far. Pussy only goes so far. And I've gotten to the point where I enjoy the work that I do, my 9 to 5, more than I enjoy a woman. I enjoy working out more than I enjoy a woman. I enjoy riding a bike more than I enjoy a woman, because I have to. As a man, I really have to get to the point where, like, that shit is what's always going to be there. That shit is what is going to love me. That shit is what is going to take care of me. That shit is the only thing that gives a fuck about me. So I'm going to love that shit and take care of that shit and foster it. So let's see, what have we talked about? We've talked about masturbation, we've talked about meditation, we've talked about alcohol, we've talked about weed, we've talked about hooking up. I know there's a couple more we can talk about. Let's see, what is it? Oh man, look at that fucking house. Oh my god, bro. Like, I feel like I'm camping right now. I've never been back on this road, but this shit is prime Pennsylvania. Like, this is... So I guess the next thing I'm going to talk about is evolutionary stable strategy. And I learned this through Tai Lopez. And it wasn't in one of the 67 steps, but if you want to learn about a lot of stuff that's like similar to the shit I'm talking about, look up Tai Lopez 67 steps. So, evolutionary stable strategy is basically the rabbits and the fox population keep each other in check. There's always going to be two opposing forces in Mother Nature that a lot of human beings want to villainize conflict, but it's always going to be there. Mother Nature is conflict. Conflict is what keeps a balance in the ecosystem of our natural fucking world. So right now, in 2020, it's the election year. We got the most toxic, I don't want to say toxic, the most intense Democrat versus Republican race we've ever experienced. And people want to point the finger and hate the other side, and yes, people are a little extreme nowadays, but we need each other. We need each other for a balance. The rabbits need the foxes, and the foxes need the rabbits. When the rabbit population goes up, the fox population goes up because they have more food, and as the fox population goes up, the rabbit population goes down, and as the rabbit population goes down, the fox population goes up. So right now we have the presidential race, we have the whole race issue in America right now, which we need each other. We need each other, we need the conflict. You know, it hurts, it's painful, but Mother Nature's not nice. Mother Nature doesn't give a fuck. Mother Nature will kill you. Mother Nature will just drop you on your ass. And life is hard, and life is meant to be hard, and it's meant to be challenging, and there's meant to be conflict. And I don't want to say it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's just what it is. And that's how life is going to be. There's going to be people that want to overthrow the government, there's going to be people that want more government, and we all need each other. We all need each other. And I think I'm gonna tread into murky waters here. So, because it's such a topic. We've had feminism, and now we've had BLM, Black Lives Matter, happen. And I'm happy both have happened. There's always going to be things in life that we need to improve on, and there's always going to be imbalances that need to be fixed. And that is, what we have experienced. But I also want to get into talking about groupthink, human beings as herd animals, and cults. Because I will tell you what, I do not fully support the Republicans. I do not fully support the Democrats. I do not, and this is getting into murky waters, I do not 100% support feminism. I support equality. I don't 100% support BLM, but I support equality. And what I'm basically trying to say is there is many good things about feminism. There's many good things about Black Lives Matter. But just like every group, just as every modality, everything in the entire world, there's good and bad in everything. So there's things I don't support about, and there's things I do support about. And right now, everyone wants to be so left or right, black or white. And it's way, 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 way more difficult that. It goes back into evolutionary stable strategy, where we need both. We need each other. And not everything is, females and feminism isn't completely innocent. Black Lives Matter isn't completely innocent. White people and races are obviously not innocent. But we're all a little bit guilty. We're all a little guilty. And what I'm trying to say is you can dislike my opinion all you want, but everyone is guilty of what we're fighting right now. Even me. We're all guilty of it. And I like to think I'm better than it, but I'm also a human being, and I'm imperfect. I have no reason to, judge someone because they have a vagina, or judge someone because, for whatever reason. I should give them the throttle. And I think the other thing I want to touch on feminism, I don't necessarily want to talk about BLM because I'm white. It's such a hot topic, and saying I don't fully 100% support it. There's a difference between Black Lives Matter, the slogan, which I 100% support, and also the movement, which I don't 100% support. But that also ties into, I want to get into talking about victimhood. Because what's going on right now is basically victimhood, victim and abuse, victim and abuser. And that's what feminism has basically been, and that is what Black Lives Matter has basically been. Now, what I'm basically trying to say is females are not 100% innocent. And black people, obviously, as white people, are not 100% innocent. And so victimhood, the psychology of victimhood, gets into pointing fingers, which gets down into the ego, which says, this person, these people did these things to me and made me feel a certain way. So we're talking about psychology right now, which is more than color, more than sex. It just goes into everything. Everyone. If you look at Trump is guilty of victimhood. He will blame China, he'll blame the media, he'll blame Obama, you know what I mean? So it's Trump plays the victim card, black people play the victim card, white people play the victim card, every race, everyone. I try to not do it. I've noticed myself maybe once the past few months do it. Holy shit, I'm in New York. We're just going, man. I think we can keep going straight. This would be a long ass video to edit. Like 30 minutes, just non-stop talking. Holy Lord. I don't even get it. What do you do for a living? Tell me. Wow. So victimhood gets into the ego, which the ego, and this is going to get into psychology, we want to blame the world for making us feel a certain way. We want to blame others for our pain, and it's so easy to do that. This person did this to me, so this is why I feel this way. But in reality, it's this person did this to me, and I haven't been able to get over it, so I blame them. I had a conversation with my sister one time, and she was holding on to some stuff, and I said, when does it go from their fault, the people who've hurt you, to your fault, the fact that you're still holding on to it years later? Because, and this gets into depression and anxiety and victimhood, because it's all an addiction, and it feels good, and it's just like doing heroin. It feels good in the moment while you're doing it, while you're fuming over this person did this person did that. But then comes in the withdrawal, when you don't have the drug anymore, and you're feeling the effects. You're feeling the depression. Because right now, what's going on in America, it's deeper than race. It's deeper than gender issues. It comes down to, at the core, gets into psychology and mental health. Because often, and people don't like this, not all the time, because that's a slippery slope. A lot of the time, when we blame people, or we point the finger at other people, we're guilty of that thing we're pointing the finger at. So I can say, for instance, I can call someone an asshole. I can say, that person is an asshole. Or I could say to myself, that person is an asshole, but I'm allowing them to be an asshole and walk all over me, and they came into my life to show me that I need to stand up for myself. That is healthy. That's having a healthy outlook on life and mentality, is when you can take the bad, take the very bad, take the worst shit that's ever happened, and use it for fuel to learn and grow and make yourself better. And immediately, when you learn the concept of taking the pain and transmuting it and making yourself stronger, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it loses its power. And I want to say, you're going to start looking for pain, but you're going to start welcoming it. You're going to open the door and say, yes, please, come on in. Have some T-pain, Have some T-Pain. Ah! Have some T-Pain. Oh, what a joke. Okay. You're going to start welcoming it in. I want to say enjoy the pain. And I think that's going to lead us into another topic I want to talk about. I want to talk about masculinity. And I think all this entire conversation has been about masculinity. Yeah, I'm going to go down that road real quick. Because what is masculinity? And that's hard to define for me. But I think right now the hot topic that I want to discuss about masculinity is misunderstanding masculinity. Because a lot of what men are is we are the protectors. We are the protectors, but we were also, when you get into protecting, you also need to teach others how to protect themselves. And you also need to, that comes with, if you gotta feel some pain to be able to callous yourself, to be able to grow and lead and to protect. And sometimes you gotta hurt people. And I'm not talking about like physically, like with a knife or a gun. I'm talking about like you gotta spar. You gotta spar a little bit with you gotta spar and give it the wrist. Preload the shifter, but I didn't. You gotta spar a little bit. And so sometimes you gotta be the bad guy. You know, as a father, you gotta hurt your children. And I'm not talking about physically necessarily. Maybe a little bit slap on the butt, you know, nothing that's gonna be permanent or, you know, blood or leave a bruise. But I've learned as a man, the pain has made me stronger. So, it's not necessarily my job to make other people stronger. That's their job. But it's my job to assist. It's my job to make my own elbows sharper, and I can sharpen other people's elbows at the same time. And what we have right now in America with feminism and the hate towards police is a hate towards the masculine energy that is meant to protect, but also at the same time cause a little bit of pain. Not too much pain, just the right amount of pain. Because love and pain, pleasure and pain is a aspect of life, and it all has purpose. And embracing the danger, embracing the pain is the most important thing to growing as a man. There are plenty of men out there that have still not come to terms with loving the pain. And you will never, ever, ever fully be as high quality of a man as you could possibly be if you do not fall in love with the pain. And so I think I answered my own question was starting out. You know, it's hard to define what is a man. But what's life and what's talking about men without talking about pain? Because that's what's being talked about right now. There's been pain in feminism, and they want to label, you know, not all of it was good, not all of it was bad. They want to label men as, you know, bad and not good, and, you know. But I think it's just misunderstood. And we want to label all the police bad because, you know, they you know, there's a couple of them that, you know, can cause issue sometimes. But not all black people are bad. There's some bad eggs, but not all cops are bad. There's some bad eggs. Not all aspects of police is good. Not all aspects of it is bad. Not all aspects of the black community, BLM, is good. Not all of it is bad. And the same with the white community. But masculinity. As a man, you've grown up, like we call it, it's called the third or fourth wave of feminism. So it really, took hold in the early 1900s. And so we've only heard basically this entire time is men are bad, men are evil, men have been oppressing women. And that's a very limited view. I think as men, let's just get into it. Let's talk about feminism and masculinity. So the hot topic is women were not allowed to vote, and women were not holding jobs. And I'm cool with women voting. I'm cool with women holding jobs. That's great. But I also believe that the reasons behind those are a little murky. So, for eons, since the beginning of time, men have been dying in battle, men have been dying in war, and it's been us. 99.9% of the deaths since the beginning of time have been men dying on the battlefield. So when it came time to vote for who was going to lead the tribe, who was going to lead the people, the most important thing was physical protection, and that was the man's world. So, because women weren't dying in battlefield, they weren't able to vote. And I believe that is a fair-ass trade. It is a fair-ass trade. Whatever your opinion is, I'm cool with women voting. You're not going to like this probably. If I was in the military, I honestly really wouldn't want a 120-pound woman next to me, expected to pull me out. She's going to leave me there. Let's be honest. Let's be real. There's more brotherhood than there's sisterhood. There's more loyalty among men than there's women. You can hate it. You can love it. That's just the way it is, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. If the ladies have made it this far, instead of just being like, I don't want to hear what you're saying to me. You're questioning my victimhood. And also, so women weren't, allowed to hold jobs, and it's like they were forced to be at home. But I firmly believe that the majority of women liked it that way. Women, in my experience, like having things taken care of. Like, for instance, when you go watch a movie, there's a director that figures everything out, and then there is the passive observer that sits down and is able to watch. And there's both pleasures. There's pleasures to directing, and there's pleasures to, having things figured out and having everything taken care of. And I think with feminism, it's labeled men doing this because we're terrible, but that's very limited. I mean, we were literally supporting them financially to stay home in this peaceful ass environment that's away from the real world, which depending on, some women are into that and some women are not into that, you know what I mean? So I think if women want to hold a job, they can hold a job and they shouldn't be shamed. And if women want to be a stay-at-home mother, she shouldn't be shamed for that either. It's just different. So that's my view. Of course there's bad eggs, but I think the bad eggs among men, women have taken that into this whole other thing that all men are bad and Black Lives Matter. Nice one, dude. Oh my god, that was ignorant as fuck. That was funny. I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate you, dude. That was funny. So man, we've just covered the gamut, and these are some of the things that I wish I would have known about, things that I should have been told. They should be taught in sexual education. It should be passed down. But legit, if you practice these things and you wake up to these things and you start doing these things, for instance, when it comes to masculinity, it's like, dude, if you're a man, fucking go to the gym, dude. If you're not hitting the gym, dude, go fuck yourself. Take cold showers. Take a cold shower every fucking day for the rest of your life. Run. Do some cardio. Get a bike. Do something dangerous. Go to classes and start boxing. You know, there's so much beauty to the masculine form, and so many men don't, I don't want to say they don't reach their potential, but like, no homo, but men can look amazing physically. Like, men who like have lifted weights and build a great physique, like, I don't look at them as like beautiful. I look at them like, man, that person put in work, and that's like respect. You know what I mean? Like, put that shit, explore that shit, do that shit. And those are the things that you can do. You can meditate, take cold showers every day, read self-help books, put down the social media for a little bit, stop watching TV, Netflix, and watch a documentary. You know, prioritize things that can benefit. What are you doing in life? Are you staying the same? I always say there's three people in life: people who are getting worse, people who are staying the same, and people who are getting better. So really, which one are you, and what things do you need to cut out of your life? Like, maybe it's a toxic person. Maybe you should move out and get away from your parents to get your own place. Maybe you should stop masturbating, stop using drugs, stop making excuses, get out of your comfort zone. Whatever you are, just get out of your comfort zone. That's what being a man is getting out of your comfort zone and doing the things that no one else wants to do, and being okay with making your own decisions, regardless of whether people like you or not. Man, if you guys made it this far, I really appreciate it. Obviously, I guess this knowledge has been great, and I gotta humbly say, like, this knowledge, most of it was passed down to me through various means. I'll tell you what, people I read this somewhere, I'm not sure where I read it, but basically, let me get up here. Your father did not teach you everything that you were supposed to know and learn. And that's every father. That's going to be me in the future. I'm going to teach my son everything. I'm going to try to. So, what we're left to do is go out into nature and find mentors. Just find men that we can learn from. And that's what I've done. And I'll tell you what, you will never meet a mentor that is without flaws. You will never meet a mentor that you should listen to everything that they say. You shouldn't listen to everything I fucking say. I have flaws. Every mentor I've ever had or will have has flaws. And I should only ever pick the good and leave the bad out. And that comes back to, I was talking about cults earlier. Like, man, there's just so many people out there that want to be false and pick at people's weaknesses or insecurities, and they will show up in places that you don't believe. The people who seem the most genuine can often be the most vindictive. Not all the time, but some of the time. Another thing, oh, look at that sun. Holy shit, it looks like the moon. Another thing I want to talk about. I just forgot what I was going to talk about. Maybe I'm supposed to forget, and I'm supposed to just meditate on that thought and relax, take a breather. I've been talking the entire time. Sometimes when we stop trying is when the things come into our life. This is where I fucking floored it in the Go Hard video. past there's two cars. I just fucking ran, bro. I sprinted past them. The other thing I also missed about talking about is pay more attention to people's mannerisms than what they say. Most people will try to say things that are not in line with actually what their true intention is, not because they're trying to manipulate other people, but people are very good at manipulating themselves. I think the other thing I need to get talking into is marriage and relationships as a man. I don't think anyone should be, as a man, you shouldn't be on the extreme where you're so romantic that it's pathetic. And you shouldn't be on the extreme where you hate women. And there's always going to be pain in life. If you don't realize this by now, the women in your life, they are meant to hurt you. They are meant to remind you that what people care about you for is your abilities and what you can do in life. So as a man, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, your self-discipline and your own abilities and cultivating them needs to be more important than a relationship and a wife. We grow up with Disney, we grow up with novels, we grow up with media, and all this present relationships in a certain way. And relationships are amazing. They're also very painful, and that's what makes them super fucking beautiful. And that's the best part. But a big aspect of relationships and women's attraction to men is producing offspring. And it goes in conflict with the one romance till death do us part schema. And what I'm trying to say is the relationship between men and women is somewhere in between those two. It's somewhere in between Disney, and it's somewhere in between women are just trying to produce offspring. It's a little bit of both. It's somewhere in between. But I'll tell you what, like, women, the reason why women will be attracted to you is multifaceted. I'm gonna, touch on a couple of them. I'm not gonna, it's endless, and you can't necessarily, name everything. But to just give you an idea, get your ideas flowing. A woman will be attracted to your genes. A woman will be attracted to your humor. A woman will be attracted to your self-discipline. A woman will be attracted to your intelligence and your knowledge. Women will be attracted to your ability over your environment. Whether that be you can build a house, you can fix computers, you can build things with your hands. Your personality plays a role. Sometimes, how much money you have plays a role, and that comes down to, basically, if I could summarize it, is your power and your ability over your environment, which that could be physical, athleticism, that'd be physical building things, that could be political, that could be financial power, all those things. And I think that is a nice segue to lead me into the conversation I was trying to have earlier, but come think about it. And it's to talk about how much, and to pay attention to the myths in media. So media includes music, books, television, movies, the news, and stories that people tell you. I'm going to start with stories that people tell you. There's that quintessential guy that is always talking about the woman he slept with, yada yada yada, he gets so much women, blah blah blah. I'll tell you what, there's going to be a myth to that's that guy that is just is so insecure that he wants guys to think that he's a ladies' man. And when it comes down to it, women are so picky that there's no such thing as a ladies' man. It's a myth. It really is. And there's myths in movies. You'll see a movie and you'll see a lot of the time there interaction between men and women, and it doesn't actually correlate with reality. So when you're watching a movie, try to sit back and say, is this something that would actually happen in real life? And 95% of what happens in movies and what happens in television is not actually guided along reality. And things rappers or pop stars will sing in their music, they smoke weed every day, they drink and fuck women, they say these things. There's so much falsehood to what they're actually saying. They don't even necessarily do that stuff. And so stories and movies, they're great. But when we're young and impressionable, our reality, our perception of reality gets shaped by art, gets shaped by media. And it's super, super, super easy for us to have that allowed to distort our reality. I was talking with my dad the other day, and he was talking about how his siblings, don't really call him, his family doesn't really call him, like his friends don't really call him. And I was like, you know what, Dad? Join the club. Join the club. We watch movies, and I told him a lot of what I thought his perception of relationships, whether it be family or friends, had been influenced by TV. Oh my god, I preloaded the shifter too. And so his understanding and his expectations of family, friends, and people had been shaped by movies and TV, and he thought that's how the way things were. And I was like, Dad, honestly, as a man, you're the only person that gives a fuck about yourself. Like, you have, I have a mom, I have a dad, and I have a sister, and beyond that, no one gives a fuck about me. And that's okay. But it also took me a while to realize that, because movies are not real, and they had shaped my perception of, my dad's supposed to tell me everything that I'm supposed to know about what it's like to be a man. And that's just not the case. It really is not the fucking case. So when you're watching or consuming media and art, you can enjoy it, but you can also step back and use it as a practice to understand how your perception as you've gotten older has been shaped by this stuff, and question, is that what actually happened? Okay, this news station is telling me this happened, but that doesn't make sense. If I were to put myself in the shoes of the people that this was happening, human beings, I don't want to say are predictable, but we have our own motives, power, recognition, money. And sometimes you'll hear a story in the news that doesn't really align with those things, and you're like, wait a second, something doesn't add up. That was definitely the thing I really wanted to talk about. Man, this is gonna be a long ass this is gonna be a long ass YouTube video. I thought I was gonna talk about this shit for like 15 minutes. I've been riding for like an hour now. I swear to God, if this thing's not recording, I'm probably almost out of juice. Let's see. I can't see. Oh well, I'm gonna head back home, or start heading that way. So if I need to record it, well, I'm gonna get my outro card just in case. So you guys know how it is. Honestly, this one leave a comment below, and please, like, share the things that you wish you would have been taught, because I need to hear that shit. You know, we all need to share that shit, especially as men. We need to, you know, talk about this stuff, because that's the only way we're gonna learn. I don't know what exactly the quote is. I'll put it on the screen because I have it saved in my phone. But it basically means that, like, no man knows everything, and the most intelligent and the most wise man is the one that can be open to new ideas and learning from other people, but also recognizing that people are full of shit as well. Man. So yeah, I mean, this video was, I wish I would have known the shit when I was younger, and hopefully in a year from now I'll have some more things to add. And I think I might make some short videos in the future just based on one topic, and maybe I'll go in depth to it, and maybe I'll just recover the stuff and just have a smaller form video for people to be able to consume. I gotta get a decent run in. Dude, I don't know what's going on, but, like, literally, like, I had false shifts like 2 or 3 times, even though I was, like, putting pressure on the shifter. Anyways, like, subscribe, hit the subscribe button. Maybe leave some YouTube videos down below that go into talking about this stuff. So we can learn from each other. And seriously, if you made it this far, holy shit, you're a warrior. Just close the video now and go out and do that thing you don't want to do. Or don't, because maybe you need to take a break. There's actually one more topic I want to discuss. I want to talk about college and entrepreneurship, because I firmly believe that they are both overrated and underrated at the same time. So there's been this push towards, like, entrepreneurship, and it's great. I think it's phenomenal, but I also think it can sometimes poo-poo having a normal 9-to-5 job life, which is beautiful and great. And that's just as good, you know, working a 9-to-5 is just as good as becoming an entrepreneur, becoming a millionaire, going to college, not going to college. It's all good. It really is all good. Having a normal life, just raising kids and having a normal job is beautiful. It's all you'll ever need. It's more life than you can ever need. And so sometimes, like, they'll say, go to college, you need to go to college. No, you don't. And it does fucking help, because, you know, so many people have a huge bias against if you don't have a degree. I've experienced that. I work as an animator, and I have a great portfolio, but I still find people being like, oh, you didn't go to college. Even though I have experience. I'm 29. I've been doing it for like 10, 12 years. There really is a bias. And I think the entrepreneurship game is cool and everything, but I think it also gets to, you see those YouTube ads where you're like, I just made $2 million this year and I just did it from sitting at home, and, like, that's cool and shit, but it's also not what you need to be doing. It's so easy for people to sell you an idea or a life that is better than what you have, and that's what a lot of entrepreneurs will do. Or no, I don't want to say entrepreneurs. I don't want to say they're I'm not trying to talk negatively about them. I'm saying they're good because they're inspiring people, but there's also aspect to it. It's like, if you're not doing this, you're shit, because you're only working a 9-to-5 job making $13 an hour, which is, like, decent. It's chill, like this coast territory. But what I've learned is a lot of people want to be a guru. They want to sell, as I speak all about this shit, don't listen to me. They want to be a guru, and they want people to perceive them in a certain way, And they want people to follow them, and they want to say, my way is the right way. You should go to college. You shouldn't go to college. It's still... I just did a loop. Man, I don't know what's going on. I keep missing fucking gears. I've been shifting how I normally should. Maybe because it's colder out and I didn't let the thing heat up. Maybe. I don't know. So that's what I come back to. Don't ever fully listen to everyone what they say, because they have their own biases. People who went to college are biased to saying you need to go to college. People who didn't go to college and became entrepreneurs are biased against college. And so people who went to college are biased against entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurs are biased against, not all, but you get the idea. People have their own intentions. People have their own intentions, and they're self-serving intentions. Even, this is gonna be another topic. Intentions and what's the word? And charity. Intentions and charity. No matter the intention of giving or helping people, I'm a firm believer that if you try to help someone, you're not necessarily helping them. Not all the time, some of the time. You're not necessarily... They have their own struggles that they need to go over and get through themselves. So if you're going to give a homeless person money, you're enabling them to stay in the same path that they're on. And your intention is to help, or is your intention to feel like you're better than someone and they're beneath you? I don't want to go too fast on this fucking shabby ass road right now. That was a heady ass ride, bro. Headies.